Greetings, humans. I'm Andrei. And I'm George. And welcome back to the Windmill full of corpses. Let me clarify one thing. We're doing an orbit culture sitting now. These videos will probably not go up one after the other, but we're shooting them in one go. So we just listened to Nansha. And at the moment, we are dead. Hence, it's time for Rebirth. Okay, that was accurate, yeah, true. So, okay. Do we have anything else to say? Yeah, band links below, everything, all that stuff. And check out Orbit Culture if you don't know them.
My son, it's time to leave this world. It's time to leave the daylight stream. It's time to feel this rain through the fire hail. This is all I have to say. This is all that's left of me. In the shell I live through hell. Walking eyes in pain. I cannot take what the world gave me. I cannot live through this hell. I cannot take this life that I've been given. I've always sung the words and songs of death. If I didn't let you go, I would never let you go so far from my heart. If I didn't let you go, I would never let you go so far from my heart. You'll see.
I know who this guy is. This guy is a hybrid of James Hetfield and Ben Dewar. Maybe. With a little bit of himself in there. This is, I think, the most melodic orbit culture we've seen so far. Guys, by the way, I just flashed in my mind. I think I read somewhere that they got their band name off of some Google generator. Is that accurate? Do you know that? Because that's like, this is a really cool band name. And if Google made it up, then we probably could have come up with something better than the Windmill full of corpses. Yeah. We should ask Google. Shall we? Yes.
I've walked through these halls, but I cannot see through it all. I've lost control. Forgiveness perfected somewhat something, but never thought on hold. Maybe you'll say. I live my life, escape from the sun, living life.
something is about to go down and all hell is gonna break loose, and I need to comment on what we heard so far before that. This does feel like Rebirth. It feels uplifting. I've got the feeling that everything I've heard from them was somewhat dark emotionally, was either like more melancholic or sorrowful or longing or just plain raging and brutal, but this actually has this kind of like it grows, like it's expanding. Okay, I feel you. I think that doesn't quite apply to Saw, because Saw was just banging. Like, I don't think we got so much of an emotional baggage with that one, or maybe we weren't noticing it yet because we hadn't been so much into the band at that point. But I do feel you. This does feel kind of uplifting, and I'd say the other songs we checked out, The Son of All and Nensha, felt kind of like a harbinger of something nasty about to happen. Yeah. And then this one feels kind of like being on the other end of that and dealing with some form of acceptance, I'd say. Yeah. So, and then it's so bitter, you know. Going up again. Yeah, it's so bitter, but it's like, it's like shedding weight. Yeah. So, and another thing I want to say is I really like that they learned how to make their videos from Wolfheart. Yeah, set everything on fire. Just light it all up. If you don't know what we're talking about, check out, I think it's also in Breakwater, but primarily Hail of Steel. Yeah. So Breakwater and Hail of Steel from Wolfheart, that's how you make a video. And like this. Yeah, and on that note, I think they actually have a lot of the similar stage motion, sort of, with a heavy headbanging. It's not quite as fast, because Wolfheart are crazy and I don't know how their necks sit under their heads. Like, they're still in one piece. You need practice for that. But these guys are doing some pretty banging bangers too. I mean, in terms of headbangs, not just the songs. Yeah, and they've got like the really imposing posture. Like, it's a joy to see them. So I want more. So much for Rebirth. I mean so much for uplifting, because that actually was a rebirth. My god, this ending was so creepy. So basically that thing that showed up was the end, at the end was the creature thingy that they killed coming back to life. Something kind of thing. This actually, I swear to god, I'm not just trying to make endless Wolfheart comparisons, but this actually reminds me of Ruta Part 2 of Wolfheart. Because that's basically, I think the lyrics are basically someone burning alive and then coming back to life. So, I know that's metaphorical, but it's a pretty cool thing, and I think you see this here too. It's like something horrible happens to you and then you get back up. And you're like all mutilated by it and that, but like, So I don't know if these guys actually have a message about, I don't know, crappy things happening to people and then getting back up. I guess you can try to get that from this video, but it also sounds somewhat supernatural. Looking at the imagery, looking at the titles, I have this feeling that it's probably a narrative. Like, I don't know if it's an actual story or if it's more like a thing that you can interpret, but it does feel like it has a narrative flow, like it goes at least through different emotional phases or something, especially looking from Nensha into this one. Mm-hmm. And another thing I want to say is on the last part, like when it got brutal, it's like the connection between the video and the music was so well put together. Yeah. And it was the guttural vocals. Yeah. And the riffs and the kicks all have this not just heavy, but almost like monstrous sound, like it's a beast. And you have those like, I don't know, orcs, trolls, whatever they are. And it's like just this kind of grotesque feeling. Mm-hmm. And then there's the orchestration and the melody that's kind of, I don't know, it's sad, it's painful, it's tragic. And I think that's the part that flows into the person, female-ish, at least that's what it looks like to me, dying. So it's like the monstrosity on one end and the suffering on the other or something like that. It's so cathartic, and I rarely find metal so extreme that would be so emotionally expressive and just compelling and engaging. And usually when things are so extreme, that tends to sacrifice a bit of the emotion, but these guys make them go hand in hand, and they sort of, the extremity pulls the emotion up rather than compromising it. So also more from an analytical point of view, something that I've heard throughout their songs so far, and I don't think I've clearly mentioned, is they always seem to be just kind of moving in and around the kick snare pattern on the drums. So you just have the kick snare going in, and then like a double kick will go, or a polyrhythmic riff or whatever, and then land right back in the kick snare. And it's why they're so bouncy all the time. And so it's like you have this fixed skeleton and it sits there and it's reliable, but then you do all sorts of flourishes around it. Yeah. And they actually allow themselves to go pretty far out, but they always go back in. Mm-hmm. It rarely happens to me that I find a band that just like production-wise, the texture of the sound itself sounds like nothing I've ever heard before. Yeah. So yeah. To everyone watching, thank you so much for being here. To all the Orbit Culture fans, thank you so much for the suggestions. Keep dropping them. We'll also be doing the shadowing next. Yes. For everyone watching, if you enjoyed this video, we greatly appreciate the likes and shares. And if you want to see more of us, don't forget to subscribe with bells on. Thank you very much for stopping by. We hope you enjoyed your stay, and we'd love to see you back at the Windmill very soon. Corpses.